right. Hello, ladies. Mom
Hello.
Proof. Here we are.
We're back.
We're back. Working on being comfortable with the uncomfortable. We're making an art of it, apparently.
Yeah,
I mean, we could do drawings, paintings.
we could.
How uncomfortable are we in parenting?
We could just sit in it.
Just sit in the
Apparently, that's been a lesson for
Excuse me.
our viewers.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
sit in being
Sitting.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We did talk about that last episode, actually.
Yes.
Fears and futures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think we should kind of lead in with that. I know that we had a lot of responses to the episode where people were like, just commenting about their fears and stuff. And, it's not all bad, right? Parents are doing so much and not everything that comes up has to be negative.
Absolutely. I think, if you continue to just watch TV or you're listening to the news or you're leaning into stories that are shiny and bright, you're going to hear about negative stuff. And there's so much good going on in the world and parenting.
Yes. I looked up what parents need most.
What did you find? Besides so much money.
That too. The number one thing right now is parents want to be told that they're doing okay. I didn't see that parents want to be told they're doing a great job. It was that they're doing okay. We acknowledge that they're doing the best they can. And you know what? I would encourage kids out there, like teens, adults, tell your parents that they tried and they're trying.
Absolutely.
Because we are trying.
That is so
and
relevant.
to go back to, some of us, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
We worry about the future, but that's okay, right? We have to.
Well, and I think the way we were raised too, right? We talk about the generations. And so on the way here, we were discussing the different generations. So we're X apparently, and our kids are Z. Very interesting, just if you ever want to.
Mine's Alpha.
Your little guy's Alpha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know anything about it. But what is so
Should we talk about this on an episode?
I think we should.
Oh
I think we should totally talk about
go
this.
learn something totally new.
But
I love
I only brought it up to not diverge, but to say I think if we really reflect on kind of what motivated our parenting initially, I mean, we probably changed a little bit, or you're on a continuum of what drives kind of from where you parent. So I'm curious if y'all ever thought about that. Like, if you go back to when they were littles or maybe now, what is kind of your basis from which you feel you launch your parenting interventions, your parenting touches, your parenting words?
Yeah, I think for me, I've figured out now, I didn't know at the time, was fear. Like a lot of, and it wasn't all bad, right? Because fear was and it still is, it's a big driver for me.
Totally.
So
and hey, we're programmed as human beings to respond to that, right? We have a central nervous system that helps us know what to do with that.
Exactly.
So you're good at that.
But just kind of identifying it, I think I got that, when I was doing the nervous system work, was kind of what is it that I'm feeling? What comes up, right? Yeah. And I figured out it was fear, but it was fear when I was parenting was also I pushed Sophia in general to do a lot of things because I didn't want her to not fail, but I wanted her to be on top of things. So I pushed a lot, right? And that was
your fear?
Well, yeah, I have a fear of failing, so I was driving that into her, right? And it wasn't all bad because there's a lot of good that came out of it.
Give us an example, and I'm not being facetious because I think we all need to think about it for ourselves. Get ready.
That's the therapist in you.
What's an example of how fear could be, something you you parented from, but it was very helpful or it turned out well, if you can think of one. I know that's kind of on the spot.
Well, just kind of fear of her failing.
Okay.
That's a big thing for me, fear of failing.
Mm-hmm.
So because I didn't want her to fail, then I implemented a lot of tools for her not to fail, right? And I pushed to a certain degree, which it's funny because now that I have Colin, who's in 6th grade, I don't parent the same, and I'm not parenting so much from fear, but I had to learn how to rewrite that feeling in my brain to make it a positive.
Yeah.
Right. And kind of use that same sentiment, that same drive, but not so much with the fear, because what I did learn was that I passed that along to her.
Right.
Right.
But if you reframe the word fear, it can be a motivation to do something to avoid something.
Right.
But like now, if you're parenting Colin from the same kind of basis, it sounds very motivational. It sounds very like having forethought. Right? Like, so that you don't have this happen, honey, we could do this. Like, it literally is about, I don't know,
Well,
cause effect. It's
you're
not
right.
terrible.
There's ways that you can just kind of like, if you can just identify it, then you can switch it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, James?
Well, you take that and turn it into something positive, I think, which
goes into your
I parent with optimism. Now, 36 years ago, when I was 4,
and you had your first child.
right?
Wait.
I was it was a phenomenon back then. But parenting my oldest, definitely different than now. I mean, it's just a completely different ballgame. And I think what I've learned through the years is to take those bits and pieces and finally have figured it out with number 6.
But with the optimism piece still there?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been an optimist, but I will say I probably parented from fear to begin with because I didn't know.
Right.
Yeah, true. Good one.
And of course, being a real disciplinarian is where I came from. That's how his dad was. So that's where you get that whole military thing of it's to be done this way and that way. And yeah, it's different. And I think sitting in what felt uncomfortable then now causes you to pause and move forward in a different direction. I think.
Do you think there's too much do you think as a parent, and I wonder about this for all of us, and every parent, can you be too optimistic? Like, it's going to be okay. Like, don't worry about what college you get into. It'll be okay. Like, what does that mean to a kid?
I think it's the way you frame it, right? It's so funny.
Oh, yeah. Tell us your book.
Well, the book is 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do.
Ooh, I love that nuance.
What they don't do.
Okay.
But here's, to your point, you don't always need to understand your journey in life. You just need to trust that you're going in the right direction. So to answer your question about when we say, are we too optimistic? I don't know. I don't think so. Like, don't worry about where you're going to college. Just get into a school and go.
Right. Okay. I like it.
Kind of in that
That's
framework
true.
of.
Well, when I watch this Generation Z thing, the kids that are our daughters, they're really motivated by that competitive spirit. And so something I took away from checking into that generation is like, dude, I don't think we as our momming at the time, maybe we are now, I don't think we're very competitive. Do y'all feel a competitive spirit in your parenting?
Not in my parenting.
I know.
That's an interesting, but I can understand how some parents would. I mean, I see it. I don't see it. I've seen it.
That's just interesting. Tough. I mean, fear, optimism, mine was anxiety. Just, I don't know. I think that is motivating in a way because you're trying to get away from a feeling of anxiety. So then there's maybe a sense of urgency, which can be negative, i.e. when I drive and I didn't beat
By the way,
up.
you did really good
Thank
today.
you.
You did
Okay, y'all.
I know you wanted to.
I wanted to really honk on that one.
Yeah.
But I think as we learn what kind of motivates us or what we're grappling with, we have to be naming it for sure. I know we've talked about this.
Right.
But if we can pause, own it, name it, coddle it like a little baby, give it a little bit like, I see you. Now, right? Let's just.
That's such a good example,
you.
though. You don't get to rule.
No.
Anxiety. You don't get to. You don't get to run my life.
No.
You're right here.
I see
acknowledge you.
That's right.
But then you're going to have to go over.
But do you think
I have shit
optimism?
to do.
Well, right. But do you think optimism could ever be where you have to be like,
I'm a realist.
Okay, there it is. That's what it is. There it is.
I don't think.
Okay.
Really. Yes, my glass is definitely half full.
It's
but what
bubbling
the fuck
over.
is in it? So, you have to be really careful, right? We still have to be real about
here.
things.
We don't know. It's actually water, but
I know. Should maybe change it up.
Well, I mean, I love that we can. What I think is happening with our generation is we talk to our kids about our parenting. Like we can say, oh my God, I totally lost it this time. And you even remember you said to me, hey, like, don't say you don't remember when I was talking about Reagan bringing up something. And I was like, I don't remember swatting you on the rear. And she was like, really, it's the most devastating day of my life, But I just think it's very lovely that we as moms can admit some of the things we've done not so great and the things we're doing better now, which is part of this podcast.
I wonder if my boys are ever going to say,
Something that
Mom,
was
you were rough on me.
yeah, with your
Boys are hard.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they
Boys
are.
are hard.
Oh, that's a whole nother episode.
Okay, it is, you're right.
That's when we
But
bring the dads
there's the
on.
optimist, yeah.
There's the optimist.
They're great too.
But I think like going back to parents being, you have to embrace whatever you're doing, because there is no book really on how to parent.
Well, there is, but it's
there
so
is. I was going to
subjective.
say, but it depends on the child.
Mm.
Each child is an individual. They're all different, and we're all different, and our moods are different. And we talked about this. You parent in different aspects of depending on where you are in life,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of just owning it, and if you did something wrong, then apologize and then move forward and you learn a lesson from it.
Yes.
And if you do have like a bad feeling, or if there's something that you keep going back to, right? Like maybe just like what you said, identify it, but I would even like find gratitude in it. Like find something good that came out of that feeling. And that way you can change your mindset on it.
True.
Right?
True. That's
I
really
love
good.
the Enneagrams that we did because,
too.
and we just had our kids do them. I think then you can, if you understand your child's personality, you understand how to parent them differently.
100%.
Some kids just shut down the minute you raise your voice. Others tune you out. Others thrive from it and say, go ahead, try and making that.
Yeah.
So I think understanding that is very helpful in owning your parenting style as well. So identify it. Let's challenge our listeners to identify what kind of parent are you?
Yeah. Where does the motivation come from when you are, especially watch yourself when the situation isn't comfortable. It's not like you're having a joyful moment and you're parenting. That tends to come more naturally. There's just like an authentic flow. It's when you're having a struggle, some kind of barrier, something conflictual, boom, watch what you're doing. If you can just for a second remove yourself to be kind of like observing as you're doing it, it can change your whole game.
Yeah, your reactions, how you react to it, and it's again modeling, right?
Ooh, someone just said that to me the other day. They said, I watched your podcast. What I took away from it was that y'all said that we have to be accountable as parents. And I was like, that is so true. I'm glad we said that because
we really do.
I mean, imagine if we talk to our kids about their accountability. So knowing that you had some fear as a base from which, and I had anxiety, and you had, which doesn't sound terrible, optimism, like, I'm sorry, kids. I wanted the best for you.
Right.
So
but it took a long time to get there.
But I mean, do you feel like I just keep going for it? Like, did it ever backfire where they're like, Mom, stop being so positive. I want to be negative right now.
Yes.
Let me be negative. Let me wallow in it.
And I even have one kid that has said, would you stop talking? Let me say what I need to say.
You're like,
I don't want to know how great you think it's going to be. It's not so good right now.
Oh,
God, I love you. Thank you. Yes.
That worked out.
I'll take a little dose of shut the heck up.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice that you paraphrased.
I know. I think I've been dropping the F word a little bit too much. I'm very tired today. We know why. We're not going to bring up.
We're not going to bring up the porcupine and the dogs. Dang it. Or dog.
Well, you can't just say porcupine and dog and not say anything.
Tune in next time. So we'll get more listeners or followers that way.
Yes, you can't know what happened just yet. Well, so what would you say, Sandra, has been something as you've looked at your mindset? So we keep talking about mindset, and it's not just you too. Like, what helps us stay strong when there's so much distraction and there's so much negativity in the world? How do you not default back to fear? How do you not go over the top with optimism and not be a realist? Are there certain anchors that you do for yourself? And I know we talk about self-care, but like quick ones.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely been breathing, honestly. Like,
that's really cool.
You catch yourself, right? Like, first of all, I become very self-aware, which...
Sandra, that's taken you a while. I think that's really important for parents to understand. You have to work at that.
Yes.
That's not something that happened overnight.
Yeah, good one.
Or being a good parent.
Right.
I really want to acknowledge that. That's a big deal
Jamie.
for you. You've worked really hard
How long
on
have you been
it.
working on the breathing stuff, do you think? Like,
I mean, I think I've been on that nervous system for like 2 years.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I think before, I would just like react, and then I would feel bad about my reaction later. And then I would just sweep it under a rug.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm saying identify it, it's like afterwards I knew, but now I'm able to catch myself. I still do bad things, or I still say things that I shouldn't, or offend my kids, or, just make mistakes on how my message comes out. But I am able to catch it right away and I apologize, and then I don't get myself worked up in the fact that, I'm such a terrible person. And, it's like, okay, this is a lesson that next time I need to watch what I say, or I need to think before I say something, or make sure that what I heard was exactly what I heard, right?
It's like checking before you respond.
Yeah.
But even
so
like in a
good.
moment
That's so
kind
good.
of tense, I think like when I want to react, because many times I want to react, and then I do start to breathe, right? And it's, it's a 4-7-8. So
Talk about that.
Yeah. So you take 4, you count to 4 with you breathe in, you hold it for 7.
Breathe in with your nose primarily, or
yes,
both?
breathe in through your nose at a count to 4, and you hold it for 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then you breathe out, you let it out a count of 8.
Yeah.
And that really calms your nervous system, right? So it's really fast. You can just do it in the car, like even in traffic.
Nah, she's talking to me?
No, but in Graham yesterday.
And
there was a lot of that. Hold, breathe, let it go.
You can't hold
don't
as
move.
well. They want you to hold too long. It's like 12 seconds.
I don't know. I wish I'd thought about the 4-7-8 yesterday. That can come in handy more than we realize.
Mammograms.
Mammograms.
Yeah.
There's something very related to that. It's the parasympathetic sigh. So when you're breathing out, and probably don't want to do this in public, but you actually make a sound with it. So I'm going to do it just real quick. So it's, so you know what's about to happen, people. But it's like, so you're breathing in, but you literally go like, sorry, but that can trigger. That wasn't weird.
And that's going to be good for us.
That is good for us.
That's important.
That's
Because
the
it's
parasympathetic side.
Yeah, it's the humming. And it affects your vagus nerve, right? So it just helps you to calm down.
It does.
Or sing.
Or sing, but humming. Think about like
Humming.
We should let's hum right now, like
no,
God
do we
Bless
need a song?
America.
You might need a theme song.
We have one.
But I love that you brought that up, because I don't think we had like shown that or really talked through that before. So you have helped us learn that, and the parasympathetic.
4-7-8. That's
4-7-8.
That's easy.
That's cool.
And the sigh with making some noise.
Yes,
It's
yes.
important.
And I was getting some physical therapy recently for my neck. This is so bizarre, y'all, because I have neck arthritis. If you know me, you know this. And she was having me do breathing that has like a hiss in it. So it made me think of the parasympathetic.
Yeah.
But what really was happening was I was emptying my lungs completely. So much of our air we don't fully ever get rid of. And so we've got to get rid of that very bottom of the air wind of the whole system. And so she was like, I want you to sigh it out. Like you can't sigh anymore. And I was like, and so, think about it. Next time you're breathing and doing some work, get rid of it, even if it's longer than the 8.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Good advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
It could be 12. I don't know what it's going to be, but it was like emptying my airway.
Well, I think sometimes parents forget you can take a minute. You can take a minute before you make a decision. You can take a minute before you react. You can take a minute before you handle a situation.
Yep.
You can breathe through it. You can sort your thoughts and then handle the situation and be comfortable if it's uncomfortable.
That's right.
Truly.
It's always a cool thing to say to your kid, I'll get back to you. Like there will be a consequence. There is going to be something that's going to happen here. I'm not even sure what it is yet.
Just hold on.
I'll get back to you. That's actually a way for everyone to take a breather.
And they think about it, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, our parents never did that. I'll get back to you.
No,
they
mine
did.
was you're grounded immediately.
Immediately upon receiving this notice. What notice is it?
Car is gone. Put the keys on the counter.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of cars, we are fully done with all of our legal system work.
Okay, good.
We've had classes taken, fees paid, affidavits given to the court.
Wow.
And so far, so good. with our teachable moments. So that's another thing as far as like teachable moments can be very healthy because then they become like family jokes.
It's good when
Yeah,
you
that's
can laugh about them.
right.
And a sense of humor is extremely important.
Oh my gosh. Have we said that before? Probably we have.
It's very important.
What
And
else was in your, sorry, I wanted to know other things they said don't do, which I love that they actually.
I know we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
We're going to pick it up again. One of mentally strong people don't keep making the same mistakes over and over.
Who's the author? So we can shout that one.
She's great. Amy Morin. She also has 13 things mentally strong parents don't do.
Ooh, I love that you normally I wouldn't like someone saying don't do something, but I like it because it seems like it's a finite little list. You're like, okay,
It's true. You don't worry about pleasing everyone. I think that's a good one for our kids. And let's pick up on that one in the next episode because
it goes with the Enneagrams.
The Enneagrams, which describes someone's personality, not 100%, but there are some of those that do worry more about others than different numbers.
Yes.
Right.
We can get into that next episode. I'm
That's
excited.
exciting.
Yes.
I know. Let's do it. We need a question.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's
go.
me.
Okay. Here we go. What's the most inventive way you found to build a stronger bond with your partner? And did it involve a spontaneous dance party in the living room or an impromptu cooking disaster? That's weird. Okay, so this is more about just us with our people that we care about, but I think it could be with your kid too.
Dance party, 100%.
Dance
Ask
party.
any one of my kids.
That's so really?
For sure.
That's so
For
cute.
sure. Just recently had one with Lev, the grandson.
Oh,
Absolutely.
That's a perfect age to
Dance
do
in your
it.
kitchen. But never
Naked?
stop dancing.
Not
naked.
Not with your grandkids.
I mean,
sorry.
not with the grandkids.
Not with the grandkids.
Wait a minute, Kathleen. You have something to tell
Well, it
us?
said partner.
Partner.
Okay.
Eric
so
and I dance in the kitchen.
I don't
So
know.
what was yours?
I don't know. Most inventive way to build a stronger bond? Probably like actually looking into each other's eyes. Like
Oh, you're so
every
deep.
night every night Gary's so much better than this at this than I am. He'll say like love struck gazing. That's what we call it. Love struck gazing because we used to like love struck gaze so much. So it's intentional love struck gazing. And like there'll be an intentional and then when we start laughing usually first you look, then you smile, then you giggle, and then it's just like, okay, get away. That's a good and that's a Mel talked about that today with her husband online, actually.
Oh, yeah.
He takes her by the shoulders and he makes her look at him and she says, oh my God, it just slows me down.
Wow.
But they don't have love struck gazing.
I like that. LSG.
LSG. Be careful with your...
I know. I was careful.
Do you have anything that it helps you bond with your kids or your partner?
I think just laughing. Just if I could just laugh, that's even like if something serious really happens, then just try and somehow find humor or something just to laugh after a tense moment, you know?
It releases the right chemicals, so that's great. Awesome.
Okay, we'll wrap on that.
Yay. Let's
Until
release some
next time.
chemicals.
All right. Thank you.
Adios.